السلام ورحمة الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا اللهم بما علمتنا وزدنا اللهم علما وعملا إنك ولي ذلك والقادر عليه. أما بعد، فهذا درسنا في شرح بلوغ المرام للحافظ ابن حجر رحمه الله تعالى، وما زلنا في باب شروط الصلاة من كتاب الصلاة، وهذا إن شاء الله آخر درس في هذا الباب. وبعد هذا الدرس ندخل في باب السترة، إن شاء الله، إن مد الله لنا المكوث والحياة. So this is the continuation of the class we have in the explanation of fiqh, of the ways to pray, the rules and regulations of the prayer, and we left off in the chapter of the conditions of the prayer. The conditions that which يعني تتوقف عليها صحة الصلاة. الشرط هو ما يتوقف عليه صحة الصلاة. إذا عدم شرط فلا تصح الصلاة، مثل الوضوء، مثل الطهارة، مثل طهارة المكان، ومثل استقبال القبلة، ودخول وقت الصلاة. هذه أخذناها. وآخر من هذه الشروط من هذا الكتاب هو من شروط الصلاة عدم العمل الكثير، أن الإنسان لا يتحرك كثيرا حركات متوالية، بحيث إذا رآه إنسان ظن أنه غير مصلي، إنسان ماشي، إنسان يعني يعمل شيء آخر، إذا رآه إنسان آخر هذا ما هو مصلي. الحركات الكثيرة من غير حاجة، حركات ليست من مصلحة الصلاة، وهي من غير حاجة، وهي متتالية، بحيث أن يراه الإنسان يظن أن هذا غير مصلي. So the condition, the last of the conditions, the condition is that which, if they're not present, the prayer is not correct. Okay, this is the first thing a person has to look at in the prayer. For example, he has to be upon tahara, he has to be upon pure wudu. If he's not upon wudu, there's no prayer, doesn't count. Person has to, the time has to have come in. If a person wants to pray Maghrib before sunset, it doesn't count, because it's not time. This is conditioned. And so this, the last of the conditions we're going to take, inshallah, today. And then after that, we'll go into the next chapter, which is the sutra, which is to have something in front of the praying person, a wall, the back of another person, a stick, so on. But the last of these conditions is that of the prayer is that a person should not be moving too much in the prayer without any need. A lot of movements, consecutive movements, as if a person is not praying. You look at this person, you say, he's not praying. He doesn't look like he's praying. And this is for no need. And we'll mention some of the needs a person may have to move for. For example, a person sees a snake, okay? And from the sunnah, in the hadith, is to kill the snake. من السنة قتل الحية والأقرب داخل الصلاة أو خارج الصلاة في أي وقت، مسنون إلا في البيوت. هناك في يعني حكم خاص سيأتي إن شاء الله. Generally, we're supposed to kill the snakes or scorpions, any harmful animal like this, even if a person is praying. And that may take some movement, right? You may have to grab a stick, hit it. You may have to grab a rock. You may have to go step on it. All these movements are allowed because there's a need. هناك حاجة. But if there's no need, a person, for example, is just playing with his imam or playing with his shirt, and he does it continuously. The whole prayer is just doing this, or just something with the a movement, or playing with the his fingers. He's looking at his fingers, just doing this the whole prayer, or most of the prayer, a lot. Then this could be هذا قد يبطل صلاته، لأن هناك من غير حاجة ولكثرته ومتتاليته متتاولة مستمرة. That because it's continuous movements, a lot, and no need for it. So this we'll come to inshallah in this chapter. So the first hadith, hadith al-awwal, hadith سادس عشر و200 عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما قال: قلت لبلال: كيف رأيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يرد عليهم حين يسلمون عليه وهو يصلي قال: يقول هكذا، وبسط كفه ورفعه قليلا، وأخرجه أبو داود وصححه الترمذي. So this hadith, the first hadith about the movements, is the hadith of Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma. He said, I said to Bilal radiallahu anh, how did you used to see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam respond to someone who gave salam to him while he was praying? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is praying. Okay? How, if a person gave salam to him walking by, how did he used to, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to respond? He said he raised his hand, right hand, a little bit, and spread it like this. Not a lot, يعني إشارة إلى المار أنه سمع سلامه، يعني من حسن الأدب، حتى ما يظن هذا المار المسلم أنه يعني ما يحترمه وما يريد يرد عليه السلام، بل يريد، لكن ممنوع يتكلم في الصلاة، ممنوع كما أخذناه. فهذه الإشارة كفته إشارة. So this the Prophet ﷺ did this because why? We took before in the earlier hadith, we're not allowed to talk in the prayer, right? من كلمات خارج الصلاة، غير يعني مستثنى منه قرآن أو دعاء، هذا من كلمات الصلاة. أما رد السلام هذا ليس من كلمات الصلاة، ليست من الأذكار وليست من القرآن. مثل ما أخذنا قول رجل لصاحبه يرحمك الله إذا عطس في الصلاة وحمد الله، هذا خارج الصلاة، نعم، من حقه أن يشمت، يقال له يرحمك الله. أما داخل الصلاة فهذا من الكلام الممنوع، لأن هذا من الكلام العادي، الكلام الآدمي. So like we said took before, we're not allowed to talk in the prayer. Even though this is even though saying wa alaikum assalam is the right of the brother, right? But this speech is not from the Quran. You're not making munajah, talking to Allah in this. You're talking to another person. This is not part of the prayer. When you're talking to another person like this, it's not allowed. Just like a person we took before, if someone next to you sneezes, he says Alhamdulillah. In the prayer, we're not allowed to say to him, I'm not allowed to say to him, Yarhamukullah. Although this is his right outside of the prayer. But in the prayer, we have special rules. So likewise, we can't reply to the salam. What can we say? We took before ayat of the Quran, of course, we're reciting, dhikr, dua, okay? We can say all these things. And for the need, if the imam makes a mistake, then we say, Subhanallah, make tasbih. This is allowed because it's a tasbih min kalimat al-Quran, min kalimat al-Quran. This is a dhikr, tasbih, Subhanallah, so there's no problem to say that. But wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, no, this is not allowed. وإن كان في أول الإسلام مشروع رد السلام بالكلام. في أول الوحي كان الناس يردون بعضهم على بعض كلاما، لكن هذا الحكم نسخ بمثل هذا الحديث. So although initially you might find some hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam Sid did reply verbally, wa alaikum assalam. Okay, and but yet nonetheless we find this hadith that said he used to raise his hand. He used to just reply with this indication. So how do we understand when we have some hadith saying this, another hadith saying this? When we know the tariq, if we know the timeline, which ruling came first and which came later, then we know which is the later ruling, which is abrogating the original ruling. This is from the, like for example, with many rulings like shurb al-khamr. We know in the Quran the drinking of alcohol was initially allowed. Then in steps it was prohibited. So we know this came later, prohibiting the earlier and abrogating the earlier. Similarly here, ودليله النسخ والتاريخ حديث ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه قال أنه لما قدم من الحبشة، كان من المهاجرين إلى أرض الحبشة، لما قدم على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سلم عليه، لأن من عادته قبل أن هاجر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يرد عليه كلاما، فسلم عليه وفوجئ أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لم يرد عليه كلاما، فظن يعني أن في شيء، ظن في نفسه يعني وقع في نفسه شيء. فلما النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سلم من الصلاة التفت إليه تطمينا لخاطره حتى ما يتحسس أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فيه شيء يحمل عليه شيء، فقال لا، ما رديت، ما امتنعت عن رد السلام عليك لأن بيني وبينك شيء، لا، هذا حكم. فقال إن الله يحدث في أمره ما شاء، أي يشرع في أمره في شريعته ما شاء، وإنه أحدث أي حكما جديدا ألا تتكلموا في الصلاة. أحدث يعني هذا الجديد، فنسخ الأول وهو جواز الكلام. So this hadith, how we know the timeline, for example, in this ruling, Ibn Mas'ud in a hadith said, and this hadith is in Musnad Imam Ahmad, he said, we used to give salam on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and upon each other. And he would reply verbally in the prayer, wa alaikum salam. And if talk in the prayer, each us to the other. So, but when I went to Hijrah to the Ethiopia, some of the we took in the Sirah, some of the Sahaba, they went to Ethiopia before the Hijrah to Medina. He said, when I came back, I gave salam to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was praying, and he did not respond to me. Rather, كيف أومأ برأسه. He did this. He made a signal, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he didn't say wa alaikum salam. So this signal, he was surprised, Ibn Mas'ud, because he just came from Hijrah. He didn't know what's going on, so he thought there was a problem. He felt, that there was something, he made it done something wrong. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ is not talking to him now, not replying his salam. So the Prophet ﷺ, after he finished the prayer, he wanted to ease his concern, Ibn Mas'ud, and also indicate that this is a new ruling. So he said, indeed, Allah brings in his affair new matters, as he wills, new rulings. And from the new things which he ordained and legislated is that you should not talk in the prayer, not even radd salam, not even replying salam. Okay, so that's the proof for this matter. So again, someone passes by, you raise your hand a bit, just a bit, and spread it, and that's enough. طيب، وذكر الشيخ ابن عثيمين رحمه الله من فوائد هذا الحديث خفاء بعض الأحكام على من هو أعلم، لأن لا شك أن ابن عمر أعلم من بلال، وهو من علماء الصحابة، لكن خفي هذا الحكم عليه، وهذا لا يستغرب منه، هذا ما يستغرب منه، قد يحصل هذا. So this, from the benefits of this hadith, we said it was Ibn Umar who was the one who asked Bilal, and Ibn Umar is from the scholars of the Sahaba, and he was from the min mukthirin al-riwayah. He's from those who gathered the most hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. المكثرون في الرواية سبعة ومنهم ابن عمر عائشة ابن عباس البحر والخدري وأنس أبو هريرة طبعا أبو هريرة أيوة من أبو هريرة ويلي أبو هريرة ويليه ابن عمر وأنس والبحر كالخدري هو البحر والبحر وأنس والبحر والخدري هو ابن عباس ابن عباس هو البحر أبو هريرة وإليه ابن عمر والعباس وأنس وابن عباس وأبو سعيد الخدري وعائشة missing one. No, only one of them is a woman. The other six are. This is a line that the scholars mention of poetry. Inshallah, will come back to me. Anyways, this Ibn Umar is from them. Although he's from the most of the narrators of the hadith, he missed this matter. So he asked Bilal how the Prophet ﷺ used to respond to the salam in the prayer. And that's not unusual. It can happen that the less knowledgeable knows something which is missed by the more knowledgeable. ومن أشهر أمثلة ذلك الهدهد علم ما لم يعلم سليمان وهو من الأنبياء لا شك. Although clearly from that example, the hudhud, the bird, the hudhud knew something that Sulaiman alayhi salam didn't know. So this can happen, and nothing wrong with that. Also, من فوائد هذا الحديث حرص الصحابة وهذا ابن عمر يعني لم يستنكف أن يسأل بلالا عن هذا الحكم مع أنه أعلم وأفضل منه ولم يستنكف ذلك من حرصه على العلم النافع. Also that the Sahaba were keen to get the knowledge and they were not too arrogant to say, I'm not going to ask somebody, Bilal or someone, anyone that is less knowledgeable than me. No, I'll ask, and because I want the knowledge. It's not that, it's not arrogance. In fact, the arrogance is from those things that the Imam al-Bukhari reported in the Sahih that prevents a person from getting knowledge. المستكبر يقول هؤلاء يعني دوني كيف أجلس مع الفقراء أنا فوقهم مرتبة كيف أجلس معهم. The person who's arrogant, he says, I'm high status, I'm a doctor, I'm a this, and I'm a big millionaire, billionaire. I'm not going to sit with these people, they're below me, sit in the circle of knowledge. No, why should I do that? I can't do that. So this person is mahroom, he's deprived because of the arrogance. والمستحي ذكر المستحي الذي يستحي من أن يسأل ما لا يعلم هذا محروم. هذا من موانع طلب العلم. That also this mentioned the one who's too shy. He doesn't know something. I don't know something. I should not be too shy to ask because I need this knowledge. قيل لا حياء في طلب العلم. لا حياء في طلب العلم. There's no shyness in the seeking of knowledge that a person has to have. So a person should not be too shy. كما جاء عن نساء الصحابيات قالت إن الله لا يستحي من الحق. هذه كالمقدمة. قالت قبل سؤالها عن الحيض والدم قالت إن الله لا يستحي من الحق. فتقدمت وسألت ما هي بحاجة إليها. So when the hadith we took that the woman from the Sahaba, she had a question about the blood. And this is something women are shy about naturally. Men and women, especially women, are shy creatures. But before she asked the question, she said, "Indeed, Allah is not shy from the truth. In Allah la yastahi min al-haq." And then she asked her question because this is something to indicate that that this is not something to be shy about. طيب من فوائد هذا الحديث جواز السلام على المصلي. أخذنا حكم الرد، لا يرد عليه كلاما، لكن الذي سلم هل يجوز له أن يسلم على أخيه ويصلي؟ الظاهر الجواز، لأن هذا وارد في هذا الحديث ومثله، فيجوز، ما يقال أنه مستحب، يقال جائز. The next thing, is it allowed for me to give salam upon my brother when he's praying? We know he's not allowed to respond verbally. He has to make a motion. But am I allowed to give him salam? It's allowed. But we don't say it's recommended. Why? Because it may disturb him. You know, if we're not allowed to, as in one hadith, raise our recitation of Quran, بعضنا على بعض، يعني لأنه يشغل ويشوش على الإخوان، فمن بابه السلام عليهم. So we know that we're not allowed to raise our voice. In the hadith, in the masjid, for example, everyone's raising their voice and then it's disturbing each other or disturbing people who are praying. So a person should, in the company of his others, recite quietly. And similarly, you could say this, saying salam upon him may disturb him. He's praying. Okay. So again, this is a movement which is allowed. This is from those movements we said which is allowed. لأنها يسيرة. It's a very small movement, and there's a need for it. That is to reply to your brother the salam. And you can also nod your head. Someone said you can nod your head in response, or use the hand. Either one is fine. Even you could make a motion, إشارة مفهومة. You can make a motion that gives a meaning, right? Like a person enters upon you and you're praying, and he says, for example, are the children home yet? Okay, and you're praying. The wife asks, "Are the children home yet?" And you turn your head side to side or up and down. هذا ليس كلام. It's not speech, so it's allowed. It's only motion. So you can do that because motions are allowed, and there's a need for it because she needs to know, this information. Maybe it's more important some issue than that, and you're allowed to do that motion.
What about if you're praying and you have a child that's around and the child is about to touch something not supposed to touch and a little bit far away and you're seeing it?
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a need. A need for the safety of the child, as long as it's not a lot of a movement. If it's a lot too much movement that you have to, for example, turn away from the qibla. You have to turn all your chest away from the qibla, or turn around even. It's too much movement, then you might have to, exit the prayer. Okay. We'll come to that, inshallah, more detail in the next hadith. We'll talk about that. For the دليل لما قلناه من الإشارة المفهومة، حديث عائشة رضي الله عنها كانت تصلي صلاة الكسوف في عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، فدخلت عليها أسماء رضي الله عنها فقالت آية تسألها، هذه آية من الله، كسفت الشمس وكسف القمر فأشارت برأسها نعم أشارت فهذا من دليل دليله. So the proof that the person can make a movement up and down to indicate yes is that Aisha was praying Salat al-Kusuf one time, and Asma bint Abi Bakr ukhtuha, her sister Asma, entered upon her and asked her a question. Is this because, are you praying because of ayah, a sign, which is uh, eclipse, the eclipse, so she was praying prayer of eclipse. She answered with a movement, indication, signaling, yes. طيب. Um, okay. Any other questions on that hadith about entering? تفضل.
Um, it's not specifically about that hadith, but
تفضل. It's okay.
on a prayer, tahajjud,
Mm.
is someone allowed to say any other, say not the prayer itself, but making dua other than the Arabic language?
Or other than Arabic language.
And
In the yeah, you can in the sujood, yeah, in the ruku, scholars say you can make dua in your own language. It's dua. That's what I know. If you know anything different from the scholars, I can check inshallah about that one. And you can also make dua at the in Arabic. I know on the recitation at the when you're reciting Quran and you pass by ayat Jannah. تسأل اللهم أدخلني الجنة اللهم إني أسألك الجنة تقول هذا لو جهرا يعني بينك يعني بينك وبين نفسك لا تجهر لكن تقول أيضا إذا مريت على كلمة على أوصاف وآيات النار تقول اللهم إني أعوذ بك من النار جائز بل وارد عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم هذه من سنن قيام الليل سنن صلاة الليل هذه ليس في الفرائض لا. Also, the question, brother asked a good question. We can check, inshallah. What I remember, that yes, you can make dua in sajda, in ruku'ah, in your own language. You can, as far as making dua in Arabic, of course, in sujood, in ruku'ah, but also even in qiyam al-layl, you can make dua in Arabic in the recitation, in between the recitation of the Quran. If you pass by ayat about hellfire, you can say, "Oh Allah, I seek refuge. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika minan nar." If you pass ayat of Jannah, so Allahumma inni as'aluka al-Jannah. In the prayer, this the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do it. Any other question? We'll take the next hadith, inshallah. عن أبي قتادة رضي الله عنه قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يصلي وهو حامل أمامة بنت زينب أي بنت بنته هو حامل أمامة فإذا سجد وضعها وإذا قام حملها متفق عليه. ولمسلم رواية وهو يؤم الناس في المسجد هو يعني إمام الصلاة وحمل أمامة عند القيام ووضعها عند السجود وضعها عند السجود وهو مستمر بصلاته. وهذا من الأحاديث المشهورة بين الناس. This hadith is well-known hadith. The Prophet ﷺ was praying one time, and he was carrying his granddaughter, Umama, the daughter of Zainab, radiallahu anha. He was carrying her in the standing, and then when he putting her on his shoulder, and then when he made sujood, it's reported he put her down. Okay. والظاهر حتى في الركوع لأنه يصعب حمل الطفل في الركوع هكذا قال الشيخ ابن عثيمين رحمه الله. Also, the Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen said apparently also in the ruku' because it's hard to hold, a baby depending on the size, a small baby maybe, while you're making ruku'. But definitely in sujood he would put the baby down because sujood ما يجوز لابد من وضع الأعظام السبع لا يشغل فيه شاغل. السجود من أهم شيء في الصلاة يقال. The sujood are very important. So a person cannot be making sujood and busy with the child. He has to put his hands on the earth, on the ground, just as his other bones. So you cannot shows the importance of the sujood. It's very important unit of the prayer. من أركان الصلاة. Also, so this hadith uh, clearly indicates جواز الحركة للحاجة الحركة للحاجة. ويقال أن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يحملها أي أمامة وقت مرض أمها. هنا دخل الحاجة. أمها زينب مرضت وقيل أنها ماتت من هذا المرض، فالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يساعدها وكان يخدم أهله. ومن خدمته الشريفة صلى الله عليه وسلم لبنته أنه يدخل معها في الصلاة ويرعاها، وأمها مشغولة، أمها مشغولة بنته زينب. وهذا من حسن خلق النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. إنك كما وصفه الله تعالى إنك لعلى خلق عظيم. خاصة في الأطفال فهم بحاجة إلى الرأفة والرحمة واللطف واللين، كما جاء في الحديث النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: ليس منا من لا يرحم صغيرنا ويوقر كبيرنا ويعلم لعالمنا حقه ويعلم لعالمنا حقه. So this is from the movements in the prayer that's allowed, and there was a need for it. Okay, the need in this case, the scholars say, is because the mother of this child, Umama, the mother was Zainab, was sick. Okay, she was sick, and it said that she died from this sickness, because she did die in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Zainab, she died before the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when she was sick, there was a need, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for him to take care and help, and he was sallallahu alaihi wasallam was always helping. He wasn't just ignoring his family. This is from the Sunnah. A person is at home, or a person in any way possible to help, to clean, help in the cleaning when he's available, not busy, help in taking care of the children, and so on. And so this is from that. And no doubt the Prophet ﷺ was on the most high standard of character. As Allah Azza wa Jal said, إِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. Indeed, you are on the highest standard of character. Any good manners you find, Prophet ﷺ كان على قمته. He was أفضل الناس خير الناس من يعني خير أحسن الناس من هو أحسن لأهله. وأنا الحديث, the Prophet ﷺ said, the best of the people are those who are best to his family. The best of people are those who are best to his family, and I'm the best to my family. The best of people. So the Prophet ﷺ was the best to his family, and this is from his service to them. Especially, the scholars say the young who are weak. They need mercy. They need affection more than others. It is the children, and the more they are given this affection, and the more they are attached to you. This is the bond between the parents or the grandparents and the children. Is built on affection. The children are well known that this is what they need. The Prophet ﷺ therefore said, he's not from us, I mean not on our way. The one who does not have mercy on the young, respect the elders, and know the right of our scholars, of his scholar. I mean, the scholars have rights. The young have rights, the old have rights, the scholar have rights. The scholar is someone who we respect his knowledge. Not that he's ma'soom. It doesn't mean the scholar is infallible. He can't make mistakes. A scholar, anyone can make mistakes. But يرد على الخطأ ولكن يبقى كرامته لابد أن يكرم العالم لا يهان. هذا ليس من الأدب. لا يرد عليه بالحكمة وبالأسلوب For example, the scholar although he can make a mistake, he's not like an average person. He's not like you talk. We don't talk to the scholar like we talk to our children. This is not from the manners, because he has a status. Allah gave him that status. Huh? يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات. Allah said He raises those who believe amongst you and the scholars, those who have knowledge, levels. He has a level, and in the hadith famous, the يعني إن العالم معلم الناس الخير يستغفر له كل من في الأرض ومن في السماء حتى النملة في الجحرة وحتى يعني النملة في الجحرة حتى السمك في البحر يستغفر للعالم لأن العالم من علمه ما ينفع يعني الأسماك وما ينفع النمل وما ينفع الحيوانات فضلا عن ما ينفع الناس. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ also said, the one who teaches people the knowledge, then everything seeks forgiveness for him. Everything, even the ant in the ant, mound, and even the fish in the sea, which does what? Ask forgiveness for the scholar. Why? Because from the knowledge which he's teaching is respect for everything. Respect for the ants, not to kill them or for no need. This is from the knowledge, and also to have mercy on fish. For example, from the knowledge is we're not allowed to mutilate. We're not allowed to burn by fire, kill by fire, for example. So some people may think, oh, because fish, we can eat dead and so on. We don't have to slaughter them like animals like the sheep and so on. That we can fry them alive, as the kuffar do, because they don't have knowledge, but they're not allowed. Sheikh Al-Albani, he said, and others, Sheikh Fawzan, سمعته Sheikh Al-Albani أذكر قال هذا ممنوع لأن هذا من التعذيب بالنار حتى على السمك ما يجوز هذا من الظلم. He said to fry alive is haram, even the fish, as they do in the restaurant. Sometimes they take the lobster alive in front of you and they put it in the boiling water and kill it. It's not allowed, haram. It's suffering. It's suffering. So this is from the knowledge. وفضل العالم كما في الحديث وفضل العالم على العابد كفضل القمر على سائر الكواكب أو في رواية كفضلي على أدناكم. Also in the hadith, the superiority and the virtue of the scholar over the regular person is like the superiority, sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, of me over the least of you, least of the Sahaba. That's how much is the difference, vast difference. But they're not masoom. They're not masoomin. They're not infallible. If they make a mistake, the حق الحق أحق أن يتبع كما قال ابن القيم رحمه الله عن شيخه ابن تيمية لما رآه أخطأ في أمر قال الحق أحق أن يتبع لكن تحفظ كرامة شيخه لا يهان ولا يسب على خطئه. So Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, the great scholar, he said when he saw that his sheikh had made a mistake, he didn't say, I'm going to blindly follow my sheikh because I respect him so much. And some people, they say, كن في يد شيخك كالمغسول كالميت بين مغسله. هذا يقال عند الصوفية مثلا. يقال كن في بين يدي شيخك كالغسيل بين يدي مغسله. They say you should be in the hands of your sheikh, as if the dead person who's being washed by the washer. Like he can do whatever he wants with you. No, it's not. It's not. That's extreme. No, you're not supposed to have that ghulu. الغلو من في الصالحين من أكبر ما أدى إلى الشرك. To have exaggeration about the righteous people from them or scholars is that which the main thing that led to shirk. كما حصل في قوم نوح, as so famous, the people of Nuh. Who did they sit at their graves? The righteous people. They were good people. They were scholars, worshippers. But eventually, they got so much attached to them that they started to worship their graves, okay, because they were too much exaggeration. So anyway, so the scholar, we don't say he's ma'soom, but we also have respect for him. So Ibn Qayyim said about his Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah that when he saw he made a mistake, he said, I love him. هو حبيبنا هو محبوب إلينا. He said, we love him, our Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah, but the truth has more right to be followed. The truth has more right to be followed. And الحق هو الله. ما أحد يساوي يعني في حقه بالله سبحانه وتعالى. حق الله أعلى. That because Allah هو يعني أعلى وأهم. Allah is the truth, and any truth is from Allah. So that truth is given preference over anyone else. Even our parents, even our children, even our sheikh, حتى الصحابة. Even the Sahaba, if they make a mistake, okay, you say, we love them. But the truth is the truth. We have to follow the truth. Okay? So this is, so this is from the mercy when on the children, when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Irhamu man fil ard, yarhamukum man fis sama. Have mercy upon those who are in the earth, then the one who is above the heavens will have mercy upon you. Man la yarham, la yurham. The one who does not have mercy, the Prophet ﷺ said, will not receive mercy. Al-jaza'u min jinsil amal kama tadinu tudan. As is a statement, as you deal, you will be dealt. As you deal with others, you will be dealt with. First and foremost by Allah. So if we don't have mercy to the children, Allah will not have mercy with us. So this is from that indication the Prophet ﷺ used to have this mercy with the children. And he did this أمام الناس تعليما لأنه قدوة للناس جميعا. The Prophet ﷺ did this with Umama, his granddaughter, when he was when he was leading the jama'ah. Imagine, he's the imam. So because he wanted everyone to see. Okay? He wanted everyone to know this sunnah and see that this is allowed. It's allowed. That this is allowed for a need. And doesn't, like I said, it doesn't involve a lot of motion. It's just holding on the shoulder and putting down in the ruku and sujood. So it's not a lot of motion. Okay, any questions so far on that? So
this is kind of like semi-related, but when it comes to putting the baby on the floor so that you fulfill all the conditions of the sujood. Does the same thing apply when, like, I know some people, like, during Ramadan, they like hold the Quran, so do you put the Quran on the floor and then put like your hands to fulfill the conditions, or?
I mean, if you're I mean, it's better. Definitely, it's better if you have like a small one that you can put in the pocket. Yeah, if you can put it in the a small one. If again reading from the mushaf, you're talking about individual prayer. Like for example, in Taraweeh, the scholars say that I heard Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen said that the people should not be holding the mushaf, except one person who is designated to correct the imam. Okay, but what happens sometimes some masajid that there's a lot of people in the jama'ah in the line where holding the mushaf. This is not allowed. Okay, there's no need for it because the imam is reciting, right? So you're just listening to his recitation, and only one person is needed to correct him if he makes a mistake. But maybe your question is at home, right? At home, person's praying alone. He hasn't memorized a lot. The best thing is to put it on a stand. If you have a stand or a table, maybe that's not available. But if that's available, it eliminates the problem. You don't have to put it down. You don't have to carry it or anything. The next best is to have a small one that you can put in your pocket, and to keep the respect for the mushaf, you know. But if there's nothing available like that, then as long as it's not strictly prohibited to put the mushaf on the ground, as long as it's not muhan, it's a clean place, it's not disrespected, it's not belittled, it's not going to be put next to a trash can, you know, something like that, or so on. Um, that's what I know. We can check, inshallah. Wallahu ta'ala a'la wa alam. So next, any other question related to that? And the Shaykh, he mentioned, Ibn Uthaymeen, Shaykh Rahimullah, he mentioned the different types of movements. He mentioned أن الحركة للحاجة يجوز حتى لو كان من غير جنس الصلاة. إذا كان من مصلحة الصلاة فلا شك أنه جائز. إذا كانت من مصلحة الصلاة فلا شك فيه. If the movement is for the benefit of the prayer, no doubt it's allowed. For example, a person, he has to has sutra, you know, so he has to someone moved in front of him. He was praying and behind someone else at his back, and that brother he moved, and there's another brother next to him. He can move to the side, move up, so on, move as long as he's not turning away from the qibla, and this is, you know, from the benefit and for the purpose of the prayer, so it's allowed. وأما خارج أما ما كان من غير حركات الصلاة من غير جنس الصلاة فهناك أقسام. هناك حركة واجبة. What if the movement is not for the prayer itself, like we mentioned? Then it depends. There's different rulings. Okay, it could be wajib, it could be mustahab, it could be mubah, it could be makruh, it could be haram. يعني ترد فيه الأحكام الخمسة. That the scholars say that it has in it the تجري فيها الأحكام الخمسة, the 5 rulings. It could be wajib. Why? For example, a person is praying wrong. He's not facing the qibla. He guessed, or he had some, he didn't have a compass, or no one told him, he's out. He comes to a new place. He prays, for example, to this masjid, or so on. He doesn't know where's the qibla. He prays the wrong way. Then someone comes to him and tells him, brother, you're praying the wrong way, or guides him. Then this is movement واجبة. هذه حركة واجبة من يعني مما يعني يتوقف عليه صحة الصلاة. This is from those movements that the prayer validity actually depends on it. Yani he can't say, oh, I don't care what you're telling me. He becomes like a statue. He doesn't move. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe, you know, he's ignorant. But he can't. Yani he should go ahead and move. You know, especially he's in a new place. You know, someone else from this place knows better. He should recognize that maybe I'm ignorant. I don't know the qibla, and let himself to be moved to the right direction. And this is a movement which is wajib. It's wajib. That's the point. حتى يعني ما حصل في تحويل القبلة في عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لما حولت القبلة من بيت المقدس إلى الكعبة. فالصحابة كانوا أثناء الصلاة جاءهم الخبر، يصلون في مسجد قباء، فجاءهم الخبر فاستداروا كاملا. كانوا يصلون اتجاه بيت المقدس شمال، اتجاه الشمال، والإمام والإمام أمامهم في الشمال. ثم جاءهم الخبر فأخبرهم القبلة حولت فاستداروا متكاملا، فالإمام كان أمامهم ثم صار إلى جهة الجنوب. فحركات كثيرة يعني مشى وكان في الصلاة كل هذا الوقت والمشي وهو في الصلاة، لأن هذا من الحركات الواجبة، حركات واجبة. والجماعة كذلك استداروا من جهة الشمال إلى جهة الجنوب اتجاه القبلة في الجنوب. So also this example of that, clearly, the proof for that is that when the Qibla was changed at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as you mentioned, this happened after the migration to Medina by some months. Uh, all the time before, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba were praying to Jerusalem. And then, so, although there was a hope, the Prophet ﷺ used to hope for the change. قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبْلَةً تَرْضَاهَا. For the Prophet ﷺ wanted, and eventually his wish was granted. The Qibla was changed from Jerusalem to Mecca, to Kaaba. But some of the Sahaba were not in Masjid al-Nabi in the time of the ruling. They were in Masjid Quba and they're praying Fajr. So a man from Masjid Nabi, he heard the ayah and he passed by these Sahaba praying Masjid Quba and he told them the Qibla has been changed. So they changed direction 180 degrees. First, the Imam is north towards Jerusalem. Now he has to face south. So he has to do a lot of walking. And all of them have to turn around. Men and women, they has to turn around. If there's women in the time of Fajr in the prayer, if there were. Anyways, the point is that this is all allowed in the movement. Okay, as far as recommended, al-haraka al-mustahabba, مثاله رجلان يصليان سواء جماعة رجلان يصليان مع بعض فجاء ثالث ليدخل معهما قال فهنا لا بد من حركة وهي أن يتقدم الإمام ويتأخر المأموم ويستوي مع أخيه هذه حركة هنا سنة يقول الشيخ هذه حركات من السنة. The Sheikh said, for example, the Sunnah, two men are praying, and then a third wants to join them. The Imam has to move up, and his praying with him, following him, has to move back to join his brother. This is an example of movement that has to be, this is Sunnah, has to be done. And but does the person who is coming to join the third one, the Sheikh is giving a point, should he say Allahu Akbar, join Takbirat al-Ihram, قبل أن ينبه على إخواني؟ قال لا، الأولى أن لا يدخل في الصلاة حتى يقدم الإمام ويؤخر المأموم ثم يكبر حتى يخف حركاته هو نفسه في الصلاة. So the best way to do that is that when you come and you find your two brothers praying, you don't say Allahu Akbar to enter the prayer until you have given the notification that the Imam goes up and the other one comes back. Then you say Takbirat al-Ihram. Okay, for example, now, what is the that which is al-mubaha, the movement which is mubah. هي اليسيرة للحاجة أو الكثيرة للضرورة. The Sheikh said that what is mubah is, for example, a little bit of movement for some need, like itching. You have an itch. قد يكون مستحبة, حتى if the itch is very severe and you can't concentrate on the prayer because there's so much itch, you could say it's better to itch and move your hand from the position you're in. Okay? Because if you let that itch continue, it could distract you from the prayer. And being focused on the prayer is more important than to have a little movement. Yeah. So this is an example of maybe mustahabba, or recommended. Okay. Al-haraka al-kathira lid-darura. What is a lot of movement, which is a need, a severe need, life and death need. You can move in the prayer. A person, for example, Sheikh said, there's a animal about to attack him, some predatory beast like a lion or something, and he wants to defend himself. يدافع عن نفسه. فاقتضى ذلك عملا كثيرا فالعمل هنا جائز للضرورة. أما إذا كان العمل كثيرا متواليا لغير ضرورة فإنه يبطل الصلاة. So if there's a need, someone is لأن هو في حال الخوف، وفي الخوف يجوز حركات كما حتى يستدار عن القبلة، حتى يجري يصلي، حتى يمشي يصلي حالة خوف. فهنا هو في حالة خوف. So when a person is attacked by an animal, okay, and he's praying, he can do a lot of movements. He can even run or so on in the state of fear, because in the state of fear it's different now. He's still in the prayer because he's afraid now. Like Allah said, yani, in the ayat about the prayer of the fear, right? That فإذا قضيت الصلاة فاذكروا الله يعني يعني about the fear prayer, the prayer of in jihad, right? Uh, you know that Allah said, remember Allah in any condition. But when you are فإذا اطمأننتم فأقيموا الصلاة إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا. When you're safe, then you pray as we know. We all pray, like we pray here. When you're in danger, there's different rule.
So, like what happened in New Jersey about a month ago.
Mm.
When you see the guy who
Oh.
stabbed, you know,
Yeah.
people who chased that guy to catch him,
Mm.
are they can still be in prayer in salat, or they have to redo the
I mean, this is extreme. This might be too much. Yeah, too much distraction. You go out of the prayer. Yeah, I mean, something that you can do, like another human being is different. That requires a lot of attention. But maybe, uh, I mean, we can check on that situation. But I think that would be too much distraction. Too much distraction. Uh, like for example, Salatul Khawf, you have people guarding, right? Although you have movements and so on, in the jihad, you have one group of the army guarding. In that case, it's chaos. One person, there's no one on guard or anyone, so everyone is, for himself.
in that case though, because almost everyone ended up getting out of it. Salat, should they do the prayer in Jama'ah, or people can do it differently after?
Either way, if there's opportunity for jama'ah, it's better. Yeah, it's better. Um, wajib, even if it's opportunity, it's wajib. Jama'ah wajib, if it's possible. Um, okay, so then there's the haraka al-makruha. What is the movement which is, we took wajiba, mustahabba, mubaha, wa huna makruha. What is the disliked movement? هي اليسيرة لغير حاجة. اليسيرة لغير حاجة. كإنسان قام يصلي ويصلح الإمامة، يصلح غترته، ولكن يسيرا ما يكثر. A person, for example, what is makruh is that a person moves like he's playing with his hat, playing with his imama, but not a lot. Okay, maybe 3 times in the first rak'ah, 3 times in the second rak'ah, and so on. It's not consistent, continuous. This is makruh. If it becomes continuous, now muharram. قد تبطل صلاته. It may violate his prayer. It's haram. On top of that, it may violate his prayer if it's too much. And we said if it becomes too much, that depends on, if a person sees him, he doesn't look like he's praying anymore. And he's doing it for no reason, right? There's nothing harmful in his way. There's no animal, there's no scorpion. He's just moving for no need. And from that is the Sheikh mentioned is that if a child enters الطفل أو يقال الصبي غير المميز، هل يجوز له أن يصف في الصف على غير وضوء هو غير مميز ما يتميز يعني حركات الصلاة فليجوز له أن يدخل في الصف. يقول الشيخ أنه لا يقطع الصف لأن المسافة قصيرة، مسافة الطفل قصيرة، إلا إذا كانت هناك أطفال أو صبيان يعني يعني 10 كله يعني في صف، هناك المسافة طويلة فيقطع الصف. Okay, so the Sheikh also mentioned when you're talking about children now in the masjid, okay, what is the ruling if the child is young? If the child is older, above 7 or so, the thing is he is cognizant of the prayer. He knows how to guard his wudu. Then no doubt he can line up with the men if he can keep his wudu. No doubt. Uh, he's a child who is uh, at the age of discernment. He doesn't have to be baligh. Yeah, no, he's not a man. He's not 13. No, he's maybe 10, maybe 7, depending on different. This varies from one child to the other. Some children they become mature earlier. Yeah, and they can pay attention to they have the wudu or they don't have wudu, and they can stay in the prayer. No problem with that one. What if he's less than that? He's not of that age, and he can't tell he has wudu or not. Can he stand in the row? And the sheikh said yes. He's not considered because the question is, does he break the row because there's a gap now? He's just he's like a gap in the row because he doesn't count as a praying person. The sheikh said no problem because it's just a small gap, you know. And sometimes there's a need to watch the children, like in Taraweeh, for example, make sure they're not playing in the back or so on, so that we have them in the row. But they should not be. The sheikh said it should not be like 10 in a row, because now it becomes a big gap, a big space, and that may count as a gap, which is not allowed. We're not allowed to have gaps in the prayer, foot to foot, shoulder to shoulder. Yani, but if it's a small gap, no problem. Sheikh said, okay. Um, اوكي كيف لو كان الطفل في محفظة، يلبس محفظة ولا يدرى هل هو في حالة نجاسة ولا طهارة، ما يعلم. يقال الأصل فيه الطهارة، ولو يعني ولو غلب على ظنه أنه تنجس لكن لم يتيقن بالنجاسة فالأصل الطهارة، فما لا بأس أن يحمل الطفل في هذه الحالة. The Sheikh said, what if the child is wearing a diaper, right? And we know that baby may soil himself anytime. As long as the Sheikh said you don't know for sure that he has used one or two in the diaper, even if you have a doubt, you can continue to pray, no problem. But if you're sure that he did something, then you have to put him off you, or you cannot carry him, because now you're carrying him and أنت يعني متلبس بالنجاسة، وهذا مما يخل بشروط الصلاة، طهارة البدن واللباس والمكان. We said from the condition of the prayer is that there should be cleanliness of the body and clothing. Now you're co-holding this baby and you know for sure it has filth, you can't do that. Okay. Quickly, inshallah, we'll just take the next hadith. Hadith Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh, قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم اقتلوا الأسودين في الصلاة الحية والأقرب، وصححه الشيخ الألباني في صحيح الجامع. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, kill the two blacks, the two black things, in the prayer, the snake and the scorpion. Okay, the snake and the scorpion in the prayer. It doesn't mean specifically in the prayer, but because someone may think that I'm not allowed to do movement in the prayer, he said no, even in the prayer, kill these two venomous creatures. Because there's general hadith. Prophet ﷺ said, خمس فواسق يقتلن في الحل والحرم. The general hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said there's 5 wicked creatures Kill them whether you are in the haram even or outside of haram. Because you know in haram, in the sacred land, Mecca, you're not allowed to kill anything. But this is excluded. Even in haram, you kill these things, which are the snake, the scorpion, the uh, yani the which is the kite is a type of like a small bird, like a small hawk. It's a kite is a kind of bird, uh, uh, and the others there's the ghurab, the what's it called ghurab, the what's it called ghurab, the black mm,
They're poor.
crow, crow, yes, the crow, al-fa'ara, the mouse or rat, kill, yani kill even in your haram, in the haram. These are because these are wicked creatures. They carry harm. They can, especially venomous. The snake, the scorpion, they can uh, cause harm. So you kill them, uh, definitely outside of prayer, but even in the prayer. The point of the hadith that you shouldn't think, oh, I'm too busy with the prayer, I can't kill this animal, which is harmful. Yes, you can still. Rather, it's mustahab. Hadith يدل على استحباب. It's not just you're allowed, just recommended. As long as you can do so easily, you know, as long as you can do so easily. And you shouldn't do a lot of movements just to fulfill this uh, sunnah. You're praying. There's no need. But if the snake the scorpion attacks you, now you can do all the movements because now you are in fear. You know, you can do a lot of movements. Kill that snake, kill the scorpion, and so on.
So if you're trying to kill it and you have to turn away from the qibla, do you have to repeat the prayer or?
You're allowed if it attacks you. If it attacks you, it's all fair game. You can turn away. You don't have to repeat the prayer because in the case of fear, you can turn away from the qibla. So this is a valid form of fear because the scorpion is attacking you, the snake is attacking you. So you can even turn away from qibla as long as it's attacking you. If it's somewhere in the corner, you know, leaving you alone, you can wait till you're done with the prayer and then take care of it. You know, you don't have to do a lot of movement if that's possible. Um, and finally, why they call the two black things? Because it's known that the snake is not always black, right? But the scorpion is black. هذا من باب التغليب من أساليب اللغة العربية أنه يغلب أحد النوعين على الآخر كما يقال الأمران لأبي بكر وعمر مع أن أحدهما عمر لكن يغلب الأول فيقال الأمران والقمران للشمس والقمر يقال القمران. So why is it called the two black things? Because the scorpion is one of the black things, it's always black. Okay, and why is it mentioned the snake is not always black, but this is just majority. It's the sake of generality in speech. Like you say, the two moons. They say in Arabic means the sun and the moon and the sun. They're not both moon, but they call them two moons. Okay. And finally, as far as the snake, we just finally say the snake. There's a special ruling if it's in the house. There's a specific hadith if you find the snake in the house. If you find the snake in outside, in another dwelling outside, you kill it in any case. Okay, there's no specification. But if you find it in the house, it may be a jinn. It may be a jinn living in the house in the form of a snake. So what you have to do in the hadith, warn it on three separate occasions. Warn it. You say, yani, for him, أنت مني في حرج إن بقيتي في بيتي. He said, you are in a, yani, you are in a difficult position, oh jinni, assuming he's a jinn, the snake. And if you stay in my house, you're in trouble. I'm warning you. Go out of my house. Three separate occasions. And if he's hiding behind, the sheikh said, behind a sofa or something, the snake, then you move the sofa and then you warn it. face to face 3 different times. Okay? After the third time, if it's a jinni, he'll get the message and he'll leave. Okay? And if it's not jinni, he doesn't understand what you're saying. It's just a snake. So you kill it. Okay? Why? Because if it's a jinni, then he can take revenge on you. He can take revenge on you. At one hadith, what happened? There was هناك شاب يعني تزوج يعني في عهد قريب فدخل في البيت وزوجته تصرخ عن حية في غرفة نوم فدخل فقتل الحية فورا وهو يعني مات في حينه الرجل الشاب حتى قيل لا يعلم من مات أول الحية أو الشاب من سرعة موته فعلى هذا قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم هذا الحكم. What happened, the reason why there was one time a young man at the top from the Sahaba, he was married recently and he came home and his wife is screaming that there's a snake in the house. He enters into the room and kills the snake right away. And then the young man, he died on the spot. The man died. Until it said, you don't know, it wasn't known who died faster, the snake or the man. Because what? It was a jinn. And the jinn, other jinn take revenge for the death of their brother. So for this reason, we're not allowed to kill the snake if we find it in the house. Rather, you have to warn it in this manner. Wallahu ta'ala a'la wa alam. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Wa akhiru da'wana an alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa al-ma'adira an al-itala. Wa jazakumullahu khairan ajma'in.
How about the fly or the Muslim? We can kill them in the Haram?
In the anything that's harm, the scholars say anything that's is harmful. They say that specifically mention these 5, but if it's something that's causing harm, then it carries the ruling, because the reason for killing these is because they're harmful. As far as in the haram may be different. I have to check, like a fly. If there's no need, a mosquitoes it can be harmful. Yeah, mosquito can be very harmful, especially if someone has allergies, to the mosquito. Yeah.
Yes, I have a question regarding the Qibla.
Ah.
Let's say if I come to the new place and I ask for the Qibla, someone guide me, and I pray Zuhr and Asr, and after a few days I discover that I was praying in the wrong direction.
ليس عليك شيء. لا ليس عليك شيء لأنك قمت بالواجب. الواجب عليك أن تسأل. فما دام أنك اجتهدت عملت بالاجتهاد فليس عليك شيء إن أخطأت. أما الذي لا يسأل ودخل وصلى بدون سؤال يعني فرط ومفرط ما أخذ بالأسباب فهو مسؤول لابد أن يقضي الصلوات الفائتة. A person, for the question is, what if a person enters into a new masjid, and for example the masjid is doesn't have lines like here, it's obvious here which way is the qibla, and he prays the wrong way. Okay, he doesn't know, but first he asks someone from the people of the masjid which is the right way, and this person tells him wrong. Okay, for whatever reason, and so he prays wrong for 2 prayers or so on, and then he finds out later he was praying the wrong way. Does he have to repeat those prayers that he prayed the wrong qibla? No. Why? Because he asked the people he thought should know. It's not his problem that the person gave him the wrong answer, because he did what his responsibility was to ask, or he tried to look in the sun or the shadows or so on. Yeah, smartphone didn't work. Yeah, something, he took the means and then he made a mistake. No problem. He does not have to repeat the prayers. But if he's lazy and didn't ask, didn't look, didn't check his phone, didn't do anything, he just said whatever, prayer, any direction, then if he prayed wrong, he has to repeat those prayers. Yeah. طيب جزاكم الله خيرا الله تعالى أعلى وأعلم. Any other questions related to that? Sorry it took so long.